I'm going to introduce you by reading your bio, and then I'm going to let you take the floor. Okay?
Okay, awesome.
Cool. All right, y'all. If y'all are ready to pray, let's do it. Father, we just come to you right now. Thanking you so much for just a new day. Thank you, Lord, for life and health and strength in our bodies, God. And we just thank you so much for whatever you did in our lives to bring us to this moment right now today, God. We are so grateful to be here, to have the ability to work on our businesses, build our visions that you've given us, and just do what it is you put us here on this earth to do, God. I thank you so much for each and every person that is here today, God. I pray that everyone will receive what they need to hear, specific to their unique situation and their business, especially as it relates to dominating the game with Facebook and Instagram ads, God. And I just thank you. I pray a special blessing over Abu. I thank you so much for his willingness to be here and to serve in this capacity. And I just pray that you be with him as he's speaking, teaching. And I thank you that you will speak through him, give him the words to say. We're just excited about what you have for us in this session, guys. So I just pray that your spirit would dwell here with us. Let each one of us just feel your presence as we go throughout this training, Father, and we will just thank you in advance because we know it's going to be bomb. We love you. We appreciate you. And it's in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. All right. So if you're not muted already, go ahead and mute yourself. I'm going to admit the last couple folks into the room that I'm seeing jumping in. All right. Let me just make sure everybody's good because we don't want any interruptions. All right. All right. So like I said, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Abu Fofanah to you all today. If you have not heard of him yet, I want to just read a little bit of his bio to you, just so you have a sense for who it is that's going to be teaching you today. So Abu Fofanah is a digital strategist and entrepreneur. He is the CEO of a digital marketing agency called House of Fofanah, which is aimed at developing technology-focused solutions to help brands monetize their online communities. Abu has worked alongside some of the world's most recognizable Fortune 100 and 500 companies around the world, helping them transform their business. He is also the founder of Power Your Launch Virtual Marketing Accelerator, targeted to helping small business owners utilize digital marketing, specifically paid advertisement, to excel in the growth of their business. Since its initiation in 2019, the Marketing Accelerator has helped over 500 women of color founders begin monetizing their brands online and on social. I am one of them. I loved Power Your Launch. That is even more reason why I could not wait to share my friend, my colleague, Abu, with you all. So without further ado, get your pens ready because I know he's going to bring it. So Abu, take it away.
Hey, what's going on? First of all, thank you so much for having me and inviting me. I truly appreciate it. And I truly appreciate you all for showing up too, because, I know we're in the midst of a lot of different things, and in life, you may have a lot to do, but, you all made a commitment to yourself to really excel and, use this time to really get your thoughts together, get your business, get your ideas together, and sort of build upon, these things that you wanted to do for so long. So, there's a bright side of everything. So what I'm going to do today is I put together different sort of things that I'm seeing when it comes to running ads. And so we're going to talk about ads. We're going to talk about building campaigns. We're going to talk about funnels. I'll share a little bit about my story, but not too much. And then we're actually going to go inside an ads manager. And I'm going to show you one of my accounts that's been able to do $2 million in sales and ads over the course of a year. And we're going to dive into the numbers, but we're also going to look at what exactly are we building in that process? And so it's going to be a little bit of a lot, because what I'm trying to do is expose you to so many different areas, so that gets your juices flowing. It gets you to the drawing board and saying, okay, this is where I am. What do I need to do now? Sort of what are the gaps that I have in my process that I need to work through? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And the first question I always ask, and I think, Marlena, you may have to make me a host to give me sharing capabilities, is who are you? And I know we have about 20 people in this room. In the chat, can you let me know that what type of business do you run? Are you a coach? Are you a infopreneur? Are you a consultant? Let me know exactly who you are. And that gives me a really good idea as well into some of the things to touch upon as well. So in the chat, let me know who you are, some of the things that you do. So we have a counselor, Vanita, podcast manager, writer, editor, graphic designer. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Dietitian, nutritionist, and entrepreneur, mentor, career coach, fashion designer, instructor. Okay, I see y'all. All right, awesome. And so no matter what space you're in, we all, in order to stay in business, we need to drive sales, right? Sales is our commonality, right? We need to find ways to drive sales. So whether we're a graphic designer and we're offering that as a service, right? Whether we're a nutritionist and we're offering that as a service, as a coach, or an info product as an ebook, what we need to start thinking about essentially is, okay, what are we selling? You know, what's going to be our delivery mechanism? What are people always asking us, right? Okay, how can I turn that into a product? How can I turn that into a service to therefore be able to fulfill my audience's needs as well? So this is important to you right now, because in order to be consistent, in order for longevity in business, it directly correlates with sales that you're able to drive. Because we have expenses of our own. We have bills that need to get paid, right? We got people that need to be taken care of. So we need to start thinking about, okay, how do I position, you know, that thing that I'm really good at, the thing people always ask me about, this idea that I have, into one of a product or service in order to start selling and amplify it. So my whole idea is around, how do you do all this without doing the most, essentially, right? How do you do all of this without constantly writing emails? And you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. Someone that's a copywriter, they may love writing emails. I know me, I hate writing emails. And so you almost have to figure out, well, what else can I do? Am I willing to write an email every day, right? Maybe that's not your strength. So how do we sort of start selling without doing the most as well? And so here is this chart that I created called daily activities. All of us in our business, we have activities that we perform. For me, I started realizing, okay, I was posting 2 to 3 times a day on Instagram. I was going live on Instagram. I was emailing my list every day. And I had other activities that I would perform. And I had to create new content. And this was the effort it was taking me, right? So I was spending anywhere from 8 all the way to like 14 hours a day on these activities. Now, ideally, everything that you do for your business, you want it to generate you sales. Like ideally, in an ideal world, this is what would happen. Every activity, you know, has, you know, sales generating effort. But a lot of times, right, there's nothing wrong with working hard, but what are the other options, right? How do we begin working smarter? And a lot of times, the activities that we're currently spending our time on, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, you have this long list of things, but they're directly correlated with not making sales, right? You think if you don't do these things, you're gonna die, right? Like it has to go on your list, but there's a list of like, you know, priorities, right? And you, if you're making everything a priority, that means you need to reevaluate, you know, your business and the activities that you're performing. And so when I started going back through my list, I said, wait, posting a lot on Instagram is actually not making me any sales. So why am I spending all this effort in areas that's not making me any sales, right? So the only 2 sales generating activities for me at that time in my business was going live on Instagram, being visible, and then emailing my list. But these other activities, always creating a new blog post, I used to try to write a blog every day. And at a point, I had over 100 blog posts, but guess how many sales I made? 0. So I'm like, well, why am I continuously doing things that aren't driving sales? And so this is the mentality of taking a step up in your business and being the CEO rather than being everybody in your business, right? Rather than being the workman or woman in your business, how can I be the CEO and look at the business and say, you know what, these things that I'm doing is actually not really working. So again, many of us are doing a lot of activities that are not leading to sales, and we're doing the most but making less each time. You know, has there ever been a month where you're like, man, I've worked so hard, but then you look at those sale numbers and you're like, what am I not doing right? Like, why isn't this sort of working out for me? And so what I found out, in order to make, you know, money online, in order to make sales, you need to have the ability to find your ideal customer. So this is the skill of, okay, how do I find this ideal customer? And you need to have something to sell to them, which I know Marlena has, you know, told y'all and taught y'all all around that, around, you know, you have to have something to sell. This is the only way you make sales, is through some sort of transaction. No one is just gonna cash at you for being you, right? And so you have to sort of sell something in order to make that sale back. And so a little bit about me is like, I've been running ads. And so this is, you know, January to May. This is a 2019. I spent $3,900 to make almost $100,000 in ads. And then over the next 30 days, I had spent $7,000 to make $102,000 in ads. Now I'm no different. When I started this business that I'm marketing here, I didn't have $7,000. I had 5,000, and 4,000 generated me $100,000, right? And then I took that money and I reinvested it, and I made another $100,000 in 30 days. And so we have to realize, you know, we all start from somewhere and we build on that. Now there's a lot of platforms we could choose to grow our business, right? From the Google, YouTube, Instagram, Amazon, Facebook, but I'm specifically going to talk about utilizing Facebook and Instagram for the purpose of this training. Now, I always like to give a warning, because there's a lot of things I'm going to say that's going to contradict maybe what you've learned up to this point, right? Or what you'll learn from our time outside of here today. And I like simplicity. So I'm going to tell you, you know, I built a $2 million business, you know, on a website, and I didn't even own the URL of that website, right? On a website that was a drag and drop, and I created it on Canva. Right? So I'm going to tell you a lot of these things are going to contradict the $20,000 website you need to have, or the 100,000 email list you need to have, that you could just start making sales from where you are. And I think that's most important. In order to get further, you sort of need to evaluate currently where you are, etc. And so I've been running ads now for almost, over a decade now, probably going on 11 years. And I started back in my college dorm. This is me over here. This is before the beard. And I used to work hard, go to college, go to classes, and I was making anywhere from 100 to 200. And I thought this was making money. I was like, okay, I'm making a lot of money. But essentially, I had no way of actually selling. I didn't really know how to sell what I was doing. And it changed, right? I started, learning. I started investing in, my learning of, okay, how do I actually really understand this? I started reaching out to coaches. I started trialing and error, running ads for other people. And this business that I started from my dorm room, this t-shirt business, blew up, and I started becoming everywhere, right? And this t-shirt business ended up generating anywhere from 6 to 30K a month. And I was at 18, 19 years old in university. So here I was utilizing, and at that time, I was taking 30, 35 credits a semester, working 2 part-time jobs. And in between my classes, I was running ads. So I was someone that didn't have the time, right? And I know many of us as CEOs were like, well, I don't have the time. But I'm telling you, from speaking from experience, I did not have the time. But I realized how important sales was. In order to stay in business, I had to make sales. And that's just the fact of it, right? In order to stay in business, I had to make sales. And I was sort of doing all this by using Facebook and Instagram ads itself in order to generate and drive sales. So here's what I saw back in 2008, 2009, when ads first came out. The first thing was access. When we use these social platforms, the reason that they're free is because in return, they're collecting data from us. We are the product, right? That's why Facebook and Instagram is free. And so there's all this data on us, but Facebook is saying, hey, you could use this data to reach your audience. Now, it's up to you whether you want to use that data or whether you want to just continue giving away your data, right? So as a business owner, I said, you know what? I want to use other people's data that they're freely giving in order to get back in front of them. The other thing was this low barrier to entry, that you could start with a small budget and have a big impact. And then the third thing, and most important for me, is what type of lifestyle do I want to live? And I want to be able to work from anywhere and just open up my laptop. And now this current situation that we're in, everyone is working from anywhere as well, right? But you sort of have to adapt. Can your business survive off of this as well? So I think the most important thing, and what I really want to talk about in this session is, I'm going to share a few strategies, but what I really want to do is get behind the scenes and talk through how to think about strategy when it comes to marketing itself. So the first place we always start is identifying where's our customer, right? This is the first place and most important that we started. So there's something called a customer profile where you break down who you're targeting, but things that people often miss is, where are they? Where are they? I know who you want to target, but where are they along the journey to buying from you? Do they have no idea who you are, right? Are they no intro to your brand? Or have they purchased from you before? Or are they on your email list? It's important to know where are they, because based on where they are, it's a lot easier to create a strategy catered to them. So this customer placement map says, how are you going to market differently to each customer? It doesn't say, how are you going to take one marketing strategy to reach everyone? It says everyone needs their own strategy in order to reach them. And that's most important. It's like if you went to your friends, if you tagged along with your friend to their friend group, you're not coming on there telling them your deepest, darkest secret. You don't know those people. Although they're friends with your friend, you don't really know them, right? So your strategy is, okay, let me fill them out, right? Okay, let me get to know them. What school did you go to? Where are you from? But if it's people the strategy is different. You already have done the intro. They already know who you are, so it's a lot easier. You're not going to go to people that know who you are and tell them, hey, my name is Marlena. I went to this university. Like, they're going to look at you strange. They're going to be like, wait, what? Like, I know this already about you. So I think the other important thing is, yes, I've identified my customer, who they are, but where are they? Where are they along the journey to purchasing from you? And so when we look at this gives us an idea, right? I put 3 points, but then it gets even more detailed, right? It's okay, no intro to your brand. Yeah, I've seen you before. Yeah, I'm kind of familiar, right? This is the language that we use when we're chatting with our peers, right? Like, yeah, I've seen that brand before. Oh, yeah, I'm kind of familiar. I've been to their website. Or, yeah, I'm on their email list. Matter of fact, I've attended one of their events. So based on where people are, we want to have a different strategy that relates to them, because then it makes it easier to get them to buy from us, because we know where they are. We know how far they are from actually purchasing. So we need to create different type of content in order to continue moving them forward, in order to them make them become a customer. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on in this training. The other thing is, okay, once we know where they are, where our customer is we start talking about, okay, how do we start putting together and start running these ads, right? And I know many people, they just want to jump and say, okay, boo, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and run ads. But there's sort of this framework that I created that, really gives you an idea of how far away you are from actually running ads. And so building the perfect ad, there's sort of these 5 stages, right? So we have the Facebook ad, we have the funnel that we take our customers through, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We have the messaging of how do we resonate with our customer, where it's important to know where they are, right? In order to resonate with someone, it's important to know where they are currently in relation to becoming a customer. Our audience, right, who we're targeting, and then essentially our offer, right? What exactly are we selling them? So most people think that, okay, I'm ready to run ads today, but this isn't where we start from. We actually start from the offer. What exactly am I selling, right? Who am I selling it to? Because you could be a career coach, but you may have an ebook, and that ebook isn't to your entire audience. It's to people that are getting ready for negotiations, right? Because they want to, negotiate for a higher salary. That's not for everyone that you're targeting. That's for a specific group of people. So you need to take your offer and align it with who exactly you're trying to reach, right? Who exactly are you trying to reach? You may have a second offer. That second offer may be for a different group in your audience. So you need to really identify, my offer, does it align with the audience that I'm serving? And then we build out the message. Where are they? So that way it's a lot easier to craft the content, the language in which we're talking to them. If someone has already purchased from us, we're not telling them, hey, let me tell you about me. They already know that. We want to tell them, hey, I know you bought this thing, but here's a second thing that could really help you because I know you've bought this thing. We know where they are in relation, so it's a lot easier to craft a better message in order to reach them. If they have no idea who we are, it's like, hey, here's who I am, here's who I've been able to help. Here are my case studies, here are my testimonials. That's about validation. If they have no idea who we are, it's about how do I validate in my customer's mind, exactly who I am. And then we go into building out the funnel, right? And the funnel, and we'll talk about that in the next part, is about creating a journey for that specific audience, for that specific offer. If you're sending a customer the one page that has all your offers, that's the worst way to do it. Because if you're sending a customer who's never heard of you to a page with 10 options, they have no idea what to select. You want to send that customer, because you know where they are, to one option. You want to lead them on a journey. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. And then we launch the ad. Then we say, you know what? Okay, I have these 4 foundational items. Okay, Abu, I'm ready to launch an ad. So again, just to reemphasize, funnels are the journeys we send potential prospects to, right, to turn into fans, right, whether subscribers or customers where they purchase from us. So when we think about a funnel, we have sort of, steps, right? So an offline funnel, for example, is, I may be sitting on my couch and I get an email from Target about a discount code, right? So I get this email from Target about a discount code. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, wait a second, Target got a discount. I'm going to get in my car, right? That's the next step. If I know Target is having a 75% off sale, I'm going to get in my car. And then I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to shop for the items. And then after that, I'm going to go to the checkout line because I have to pay. I can't just walk out the store. And then I'm going to eventually become a customer. So this is a funnel. It's just a series of steps that we're taking in order to lead our customers to our objective. And in this case, is to get them to buy from us. And so when we think about, online funnel, it's the same way. We're leading our customers through a journey in order for our objective, whether to become a customer, subscriber, or whether to check out itself. And so we're going to circle back to funnels. So I'm going to jump back to funnels in a second. So the other thing we think about is, okay, when we're ready to run our ad, is what actually goes into a campaign. So here's an example of a campaign that I ran in order to get subscribers. So I created a freebie and I started with my offer. Okay, I created a freebie called 5 Lessons I'd Learned from Running 300 Instagram Ads. And what this freebie did was I created it with intent. I said, you know what? There are a lot of people asking me about ads. Let me just do my 5 big lessons to get people that I know that may be interested in ads, because anyone that downloads this is interested in ads. I've already tagged them. That's why I created this freebie, right? So if I know they're interested in ads, and it's a lot easier to go to those people to then try to sell them on something later on. And so I said, okay, this is the ebook that I created. Let me work backwards now. Okay, so I need to, build out the website, right? The website where people go to and they subscribe. And in this case, it's download the free ebook, right? That's the case. So they go to this website and it's download the free ebook. They put their first name, they put their email. Once they do that, I give them the freebie. But I've tagged them on my back end of ConvertKit or MailChimp, whatever you're using, or ActiveCampaign, of, okay, this person downloaded an ebook around learning ads. And then I go to my ad. and the ad said, download the free ebook. But there's something I want to point out. You notice that there's ad consistency. So when they click the ad, the landing page looks like the ad, the ebook looks like the ad and the landing page. And the reason why you do this is, one, it increases conversions when you start running ad. Two, a lot of times spam pops up, right? So a lot of times you'll click an ad and you'll click out of the website because it doesn't really relate to the ad that you just saw. And so this increases your conversions of people that land on the website. So essentially what we're doing is we created the ad, but we didn't create the ad first. We understood what we're creating, offer, who the audience was, what our messaging was going to be. We built out the funnel, and then we built the ad. So here are a few types of ads, right, that you could run. You could run a lead generation, which is what I just showed you. Hey, I'm going to give you free value in order for your name and email. You could do sales generation, engagement, reach, Insta store. So there's a lot of different categories. But for the purpose of this, I'm just focused on lead generation. And so why do we even use ads in the first place? Well, before ads, this is the way we drove traffic to our website, right? We told a friend, we blogged, right? We vended, we optimized our SEO. We spoke on stage, right? Back when we could speak on stage, right? We did collaborations. We paid someone to talk about it. A lot of these activities, as you could see, they're manual activities that we were performing, right? These are all manual activities that we were doing in order to try to get in front of our audience. But now what we're doing is we're just running an ad. We're saying, you know what? I don't want to do all of this. I just want to run an ad that sends people through that journey. But let's talk about strategy for a second, right? The strategy of why I did that, right? So here's the ad campaign. We have the ad going to the landing page, and they get the freebie, right? That free value. And so let's say, hypothetically, right, I am running an ad and 1,500 people are clicking the ad, going to the landing page. Now they're there at the landing page, 463 are subscribing, right? So 1,500 people land on your website and 463 subscribe. They put their first name, they put their email address. So now that means 463 are going to get this ebook, right? That's what it means, because they opted in, right? So that means they're going to get this ebook. Now, later on down the road, remember, I told you I tagged them. I know that they're interested, these 463, in learning ads, like, because literally that's why I created this book, is to identify, who is interested in ads by putting out an ebook that says, here's what I learned from running Instagram ads. So later on down the road, I was intentional, I created a program called Master the Gram, right? And I created this program called Master the Gram, and I sold it, guess to who? The people that subscribed, that said they were interested in ads. And I would get 20% of them to buy a $47 program at that time. So about 20% of the 463 purchased this $47 info product. And that turned into $4,324. Now imagine doing this weekly, right? You're making $4,000 every week from getting 463 people to subscribe every week, right? So now I was making about $16,000 to $20,000 a month from selling a $47 product, right? Because I had people that were interested, and out of those interested, you don't need all of them to buy. All I had was 20% that would continuously buy, and I was like, you know what? This is fine with me, making 16 to 20K a month. I'm okay with that. And those people that didn't buy, that subscribed to the list, guess what I did? I retargeted them, right? I said, hey, wait a second now. Here's Master the Gram, right? I know you signed up for it. So I'm only showing this ad to the people that signed up for the ebook. The people that didn't, they're not getting this ad. Only the people that signed up for the ebook and didn't buy are seeing this ad. Once they buy, they're not going to see this ad. So this is the strategy, right? Again, the objective of business is to make sales, right? We make sales because we want to be in business longer. We want to be consistent and being in business. So this is the strategy around it. So just to reemphasize, right? We didn't make money by luck. We made it with intention. So what I want y'all to do is screenshot this, take your phone, capture a photo, post it on Instagram, tag Abu Fofana, and also tag Marlena. And so again, we didn't make money by luck, we made it with intention. And that's really important to understand, right? It's really important. Like, we're not doing things just to do them. We're doing things because we're leading people to a place that we want them to go, and then in order to convert them, to make them a customer. And that's really important. It's really, really important to understand that aspect. And so let's break down what we just saw. So it's about being intentional, right? Why are we creating this? What's the value, right? I'm creating an ebook for those interested in running ads because I know it could be a challenge spending money and not getting results, right? This is the thing I hear from all my customers all the time, right? All audiences all the time, right? I'm spending money, I'm not getting results. Okay, well, let me create an ebook just around that specific thing that you're not getting results around. Okay, well, who are we serving? Right? Entrepreneurs who are at the beginning with ads, right? Business owners who are struggling with seeing results. Someone who has tried ads and failed, but doesn't know why exactly they failed, right? They don't understand why they failed. Why is this important to them? What does it help them solve? Well, what if you could avoid all the mistakes before running your next Instagram ad? That was the copy of this ad, right? I understood where they were along the customer journey. So it's easier for me to craft a message that resonates with them. And then we go into the funnel, right? What does the customer journey look like when they click the ad? When they clicked my ad, they went to my landing page, they got the ebook, they then got retargeted. That's the journey that I set my customers on in order to make them an audience to a customer. And then the ad, right? What am I going to put in front of my audience to get them interested? You know, what will actually resonate with my audience? And with me, I did a simple, I wrote the copy that resonated, and then I took that ebook, I put it in an iPad, right? And then I did a color contrast. I was like, well, what's going to make someone stop if they're scrolling through Instagram? What about a super strong background, red, and then inside of it is another red background? It's almost this illusion, but it's super strong and it's going to make someone stop, and it's just simple, right? And then click learn more, and they go through the rest of the customer journey. So let's circle back to funnels here for a second. Again, I'll open up for questions just a second. So let's circle back to funnels. So when you're building your ads, it's important that you understand that you're building your funnels. For example, I was running an ad to my website, right? That's what you're going to do. We're going to run ads to our website. But what happens if someone goes to our website and they don't buy, right? Let's say they don't buy or they don't subscribe to your list. Guess what we're going to do, right? We're going to run another ad back to that website. And this is what's called retargeting, right? It's important to understand that retargeting is super important. 80% of businesses make all their sales through retargeting. And this is about getting back in front of your audience. Have you ever been to a website, you leave that website, and then you see that ad of that, you see that product or service on that website everywhere? This is what's called retargeting. And 80% of businesses' sales are driven through retargeting. So it's important that you're implementing these things when you start running ads in your business. And then guess what? When someone goes to our lead page and they don't subscribe, guess what we're doing? We're retargeting them. But we know where they are. Someone that just goes to our general website versus someone that goes to our lead page, we could have 3 different lead pages, right? Targeting different audiences, but we know where they are. Therefore, we're going to retarget them based on knowing where they are. And then they go to our sales page. Guess what? We know where they stopped. We can say, hey, you were almost there, right? You were almost there. Come back, get 10% off, come back and finish checkout. So we know where our audiences are, right? So we're retargeting them. So funnel, just a series of steps. But once we understand the steps, then we set the ads in places that is going to make it, our customers, no matter where they are, we're always going to be in their face. This is why, for those of you that see me, you see me everywhere all the time, because I know where you stop. And so I'm retargeting you based on where you stop along a journey. And so let's get it little even more technical. I know some of you are like, Abu, I know this. Like, let's get technical. I'm ready to get technical. And so let's get a little technical. And here's how I'm going to get technical. So let me just go back. And so let's think about the entire funnel. So this is us saying, you know what, let's go ahead and build out what this is going to look like in its totality. We have an ad, we have multiple ads that we're going to run. These multiple ads we're going to run is going to go to our website. If they don't opt in, we're going to retarget. If they do opt in, right, they're going to hit a thank you page and saying, thank you for subscribing, right? Thank you for purchasing. Or, hey, wait a minute, you know, buy this $47 product right now. And then we're going to run an ad, right? Again, this is a webinar. Run an ad to the webinar, and then we have the thank you page. So essentially, no matter what you build, whether you're a product serving products, whether you're serving information, whether you're serving coaching or consulting, this is your funnel is going to be a series of steps. And no matter what those steps are, here's where we're going to place ads in order to retarget and in order to send people to those websites. And so this is how we get a little bit more technical. And in its totality, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get to the bag, right? This is why we're doing the least, right? We're not doing the most, we're intentional. What we're trying to do is to make customers, right? We're trying to get customers in order to make money, in order to stay in business, right? There's this operation that we're sort of going through in order to make sure that we're making sales each step of the way. And so I wanted to just walk you through to make sure y'all had an understanding of, okay, how do funnels work? How do ads work with funnels? The importance of running ads, the importance of being intentional. So before I open up for questions, I'm just going to show you my own dashboard so you can see real live data along with what we just went over in these slides. So give me 1 second as I open up these, my ads dashboard. Give me a second. Okay. Marlena, also let me know how I'm doing on time. I'm trying.
Boo, you can have as much time as you need. Don't even play. As much as you need.
All right, so let me open up this, go to the dashboard. Let's start here. Okay, so what I'm gonna share is, I always like to just share real live data. So what we're looking at right now is my ads dashboard. So we run ads on the ads manager. One thing, you know, I always tell people, you never wanna click boost or promote because they give you the most limited options in targeting. So what you wanna do is go to the ads manager and run your ads from this ads manager. It's just a buffet of options. And so what we're currently looking at is my dashboard. And this dashboard is for my, I run a few different businesses, but this is for my Marketing Accelerator. So I'm running people to a webinar, right? And on that webinar, I am selling a program. And so what I'm gonna do is, let me just reorganize this dashboard. And we're gonna look at the month of January. So January 1st to January 31st of 2020, right? So this January, I made, let me zoom in. I made $300,000 in sales, right? I made $300,000 in sales from January 1st to January 31st, strictly on ads. And then when I go to the left, I spent $100,000 to make $300,000. But again, I didn't start with $100,000, and that's really important to understand. So let's look at this campaign play by play. So let me just filter this down so we could just look at or maybe we don't want to see just active ads. Let's filter and boil this down really quickly so we could just look at primary data points. So here it is. So this ad right here, I spent $7,000 and I made $92,000. This other ad, I spent $18,000 and I made $37,000. Now, some of you are like, Abu, I don't got 18K. I don't got 7K. And neither did I at the start of January, right? By the end of January 31st, did I? Yes. At January 1st, did I have that? No. And here's what I want to show you. So January 1st, let's just look at, so we looked at the 30 days, but let's just look at one day, 24 hours, January 1st. We could see that I spent $1,200 and I made 10,000. Now, Abu, did I have 1,200? Yeah, I had $1,200, but that 1,200 made me $10,000. Now, if I made $10,000 from $1,200, what is Abu gonna do? Abu's gonna say, wait a second now, what happens if I put a little bit more money in there? So notice how I didn't start out with $100,000. I started out with what I had, and at that point I had 1,500, and 1,200 of that made me 10,000. Now I have a little bit more, right? I have a little bit more money. So let's look at what happened, January 2nd. January 2nd rolls around and I spent $1,400, and now I made $7,000. So I'm like, okay, now I made even more money. Let's go to January 3rd. January 3rd rolls around and I spent $1,758. And this time I made $394. So actually, this specific day I lost money, but in the totality, I made money, right? So if I looked at January 1st through the 3rd, at this point, I had spent $4,400, but I made $18,000 total, right? So I still, in the totality of those 3 days, I'm in profit. Like, I've made more than I've lost. And so let's look at then 7 days, right? January 1st to January 7th. I spent $15,000 and made $57,000. But notice how, as I'm making more money, I'm just reinvesting it back into those campaigns. I didn't start out January 1st by spending $100,000. No, as I made more money, I kept putting more money in and saying, what happens if I put another 5K in? What happens if I put another 1,000 in, right? And then let's look at over 14 days. Now I spent 43,000, but I made $156,000. January 1st, I did not have $156,000 in my account, right? So it's really important to understand that. As I made more, what I did is I went back and I put more money in it. But if we looked at the progression, I'm showing you the timeline of how I spent $100,000 that I did not have when I first started, and how I made $300,000 that I did not have when I first started. Next, let's look at over the 21 days. So now I spent $72,000 and made $242,000. Now I did not have that. When I hit 242, I was like, okay, I was feeling myself a little bit. I was like, well, I just made $242,000. I could cover rent for the year, right? I covered my mama's rent for the year. And so, I had this strategy. And then, we look at it for the totality of the month from January 1st to 31st, I spent a total of $100,000 to make $306,000. So this was the progression of timeline. So when we start thinking about running ads, we don't need to start with this crazy budget. We start with where we are, what we have, and as we make more, we reinvest that money back into ads. And so I was okay with spending $100,000 and make $300,000. And after my expenses, so that means I made $200,000, right? If I subtracted 300 by 100, so if I use this, you could use this Chrome as a calculator. So if I spent $106,000 is what I made, and I subtracted by the $103,000 that I spent. So that means I total $200,000 after expenses of paying my team, of paying taxes, whatever. Let's say that was $40,000. So that means I took home, right, $163,000 just in the month of January. That was my, when people say they hit six figures, but it's all expenses. No, 163,000 was straight profit. And so off of the 300,000 that I made. And so now you start looking at your numbers and you're saying, well, I would spend 100,000 if I'm going to take 163,000 in profit anytime, right? I would always spend that amount of money if I'm going to take 163 in profit home. And so again, I just wanted to show you behind the scenes of, what it looks like when you start running ads to align the numbers, the ads, the funnels, the objective, and the intent. Why we're doing what specifically we're doing in that sense to make sure that it all flows. And just to show you what this looks like, where I was sending people to. So when someone went to the ad, right? So let's say they're on an ad, and I think someone is unmuted right now. So go ahead and mute yourself. So let's say they went to an ad. Let's go to this right here. Let's go to the ad level. And this was the ad that I was running. It was my story of me in the dorm room. And I talked about not having a beard, and y'all laughed at me, and so did other people. They were laughing like, wow, he's kind of funny. Like, let me click on this ad, see what what are you talking about? And so they see this ad, they as this loads, so they see this ad, right? The opportunity finding out to a customer, etc. This was a video ad that I was running. So it's me on stage talking about, etc. One of the speaking engagements that I did, they clicked sign up. This would then take them to the page. So let me just minimize this for a second. I'm just going to open up this ad in a new tab. And so they read the ad. It's loading. And then they click, okay, I'm interested. They click sign up. This then takes them to the webinar page. And this was the webinar page that they would get sent to, right? Free training, exact system I use, what I learned from running over 8,000 ads in 90 days, right? And then it says, yes, I want to attend, tells them what they'll be learning. On mobile, this looks a little bit different. So if I went in and looked at it on mobile, and this is important, right? This is part of the journey I'm sending my customers through. 95% of my audience comes through mobile. So I added some testimonials and I added some results. So this is Cece, the six-figure chick right here. These were her results. She spent $43 and made $500. And this was someone that attended the webinar. So I put results. So to drive further conversions, right? Of, okay, oh, wow, people are really liking this. Let me go ahead and sign up for this thing. And so once they signed up for it, let's say they selected the date, and this is a recording. They put in their information. I'm going to click register now. Let me exit back out of mobile. It then takes them to a thank you page. Hey, thank you. You're registered for this webinar, right? It walks them through what the webinar, a little bit about me, what they could expect in the webinar. And here's their link to attend the webinar, right? So they go through the webinar. They decide whether they're going to buy or not. If they buy, they become a sale. If not, they're going to be retargeted. And it's just the way it is. And so this is the funnel of the ad dashboard that I just showed you, how I made $300,000 in January running this specific ad. So I'm going to stop right here. I know that was a lot of information, so I'm sorry if I overloaded anyone with a lot of information. And I'll open up for questions or wherever Marlena wants me to talk about.
Whew, boo.
My bad.
Just hot fire. I hope y'all, that's why we're recording this, because I know y'all are gonna have to go back and like delve through this step by step. Abu, you have given us so many gems. This is fire, just complete fire. Before we open up into questions, because I know you only have a few minutes left with us, I just wanted you to share before anyone else who has to jump off. How can we learn more about you? How can we work with you? Tell us a little bit about how we can invest in you.
Yeah, so I run a marketing accelerator, and typically people go through that funnel, the webinar, et cetera, but I teach people how to run ads. And the reason why is sort of a few reasons. One is it's changed my economic situation. When I was 17, 18 years old, running ads and making that amount of money, that really changed my trajectory of the ability to, one, work for myself, two, be able to help my mom out. I'm one of 7 kids. And my mom raised all of us on her own. The second thing was this idea of economic empowerment, of being able to power communities that would not use this. When I looked at my peers, they were all white counterparts and they were white male dominant. And I was like, well, why aren't there other, Black women and people of color? So I started the Marketing Accelerator, and the objective was, before the accelerator, I ran an agency and I did this for people. And I said, you know what, I can't reach the people that I want, because with an agency model is one-to-one. And I kept trading in my time one-to-one. But I was like, you know what, how do I reach the most amount of people? And how do I reach them? And so I created this online program called the Power Your Launch Marketing Accelerator. So it's an intensive, it's a lot of work. Marlena will testify to that, so key, but it's a lot of work. But the goal is to teach you the critical thinking ability to run ads from beginning to end. Think about your business from a CEO level, think about reading the data and how to interpret it to be able to better increase conversions and sales. And what the program is, so first is the coursework. There's coursework, and we go through a lot of different modules. So the things that you're learning is building out your profile based on the ads you're going to run, right? Building out your resonating offer, creating copy, right? We talk about pre-selling, strategies around that. We talk about, putting your ads on autopilot, building the testimonials, learning the ads manager, learning how to read data, effective ads, learning how to scale, etc. And there's a lot of people in the community. So since we started back in January 2019, we've served over about close to 1,600 business owners, and 1,400 of them are Black women, right? So it's a big community of Black women running and killing the game, running a lot of great different businesses as well. And what we do is we teach them ads. And there's also a group coaching component of it, and it's taught by me, and I show up live, just like, so if you enjoy my teaching style today, it's in that format of, diving into the back end and showing you ads based on the questions that you do have. So essentially it's the course, the community, and coaching that you get. And again, the objective is to teach you how to run ads effectively. That's the main number one priority and objective. And so the program, and you could go to the program, if you go to, and let me just jump to the screen really quickly. If you go to poweryourlaunch.com, so if you go to poweryourlaunch.com, you'll see a little bit more about the program, et cetera. If you are interested in enrolling, you just click enroll now, and this will take you to the checkout page. It'll show you other testimonials of people that are on here. It'll show you, again, the course curriculum, what to expect. And at the bottom of it are the payment options. So right now we're currently running a sale. Next week we go up to 3K. So right now the program, the most recommended product is this $17.97 because you get the program plus 7 bonuses. But we also have a payment plan option as well. And then recently we offer a VIP package, which is a lot more of a bigger investment, but this is like one-on-one sessions with myself. But again, any of these packages would work. And no matter what package you select, you could always upgrade to VIP just by paying the difference at a future date. And so the program is a lot of work. So I like to emphasize that because you'll get into it and it's a lot at once, but it's important that it's an accelerator. So we're like, okay, let's go. Let's go. You have these 3 months, these 90 days to get through the program, right? So let's go. And so I really want to emphasize that it's not a community you come into and you wait 5 years later before you run your first ad. Like, no, we don't do that. It's really you hit the ground running. You hit the ground running. And so that's the program. And yeah, so if you are interested in joining, you can just go, again, Power Your Launch, and whatever that offer is, depending on when you're listening to this replay, it may not be at that price point, but that's what it is as of today. But yeah, let's open up for questions and anything I could do to answer those questions. Should I just go through the chat, Marlena, or how should I take questions?
I will. Let me go through here because
Okay.
to pull some from before, and then hopefully some will roll in. I know Ashley had a question about
Awesome.
Retargeting. Her question was, so you retarget based off of the subscription, not the sale. I'm not sure exactly what that question meant.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, yeah. Can Ashley unmute herself? Does she have that ability?
Yeah, Ashley, if you are still here and still have a question about that, feel free to unmute.
Good afternoon, this is Ashley. I am a career mentor and coach, and I help new and mid-level professional women in career development. So my question is, so you were talking about retargeting, and so you run your ad and then they go to your website. Yep, this page. So they go to your website and then they don't, you said subscribe. And so then you retarget them to go back to the website to subscribe. So my question, so I thought that you would retarget based off the sale, like if they didn't purchase, but it sounds like you're retargeting them based off the subscribe at first. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so essentially what I'm doing is, what you want to do is build an ad for every level. Because
Okay.
if they go to the website, they don't perform that action, essentially what you're trying to do is get people to move forward. So if they're not moving or moving backwards, you want to continue running ads to continue pushing them forward. Does that make sense?
It does. So then the actions are subscribe and purchase, or is there another action that I'm missing?
So maybe a thank you page. So the way you know that they subscribed is they hit a thank you page. So for
Okay.
example, when we looked at this right here, you know how after they subscribe, they hit a thank you page. So we may run an ad to get people to now send people to a sales page, right? Because we know these people subscribed, but we know these people didn't subscribe. So we're going to run an ad back to the subscribe page. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect. So I selfishly have a couple questions here for you, Abu.
Yep.
One is, give us, I know you mentioned starting where you are, right? You didn't start with putting 100K into ads.
Right.
Can you share a little bit about kind of maybe where you started, like from the beginning, in terms of the budget, and maybe a recommended starting budget for anyone who's just getting started?
Yeah, so I would always recommend doing $5 a day to get started. This is a good test. And so my philosophy, and again, these are Abu's strategies. If you go to YouTube, people have their own strategies. These are just my strategies from over the last 10 years that's worked for me. And so I start with $5 a day. My philosophy is you want to dig holes before you dig a well. Why dig a well and spend $1,000 in a day if you don't even know if it's going to work? It's sort of like dating. Are you going to go on your first date and say, let's get married? Probably not, right? You're filling it out. You're saying, okay, is this going to continue? Is he being consistent, right? Is he calling me, right? So there has to be some sort of consistency before you say, okay, let me go ahead. Like, okay, now let's get in a relationship. We're not going from 0 to 100. So it's the same idea around, we want to poke holes by spending $5 a day to test, to see what's the data that we're getting back. Is it consistent? If it's not, we'll turn it off. If it is, and we're making sales from $5, then we increase our budget. But we want to see consistency before we ask for marriage, essentially.
Perfect. Yes.
Again, I'm not a dating coach. I just want to throw that out there. So don't be like this dating coach Abu said. No, I'm not.
Abu said.
Right.
I love it. Okay, so we got a question from, thank you also for that. I think that's really important for us to hear. Lauren Rose has a question here. So how does the conversion work when reinvesting with ads? Is the money made once the person clicks through the funnel?
Yeah. So it would be made like, so if I went to the screen, let me go to my dashboard. Give me a second. So when we look at this dashboard, think about a commercial. You see a commercial, or let's say, think about Marlena is talking about, this new hair product that she's trying. You hear this from Marlena, you've never heard of the brand before, and then you go buy this product. Who drove the sale? Did the brand drive the sale, or did Marlena's referral drove the sale? So same thing with ads, you're able to track who clicks on what ad and what ad brought in what sale. And so that's how, right? So depending on the ad that you're running, whether the ad is sending people to subscribe or whether the ad is sending people to drive sales, once someone clicks that ad and the sale comes through, that it then attributes that sale to the ad. So now when you come to your dashboard, you see the data, right? You see the data and you can attribute what ad, right, is actually driving the sales and what ads are not driving the sales. Does that answer your question?
Lauren, feel free to unmute yourself if you need to expand on that.
Yes, thank you. Now I understand.
Yep, not a problem.
Perfect. Abu, one more question for you. Could you share a little bit of any insight you have about your clients who have had higher ticket offers that they're selling versus those with lower ticket products that they're selling? What are the differences in the barrier of, entry and getting and, hitting that 6 figures, with a smaller price product versus the higher price?
Right. So whichever low or high, you could always hit. So whether you have a low offer or a high offer, hitting 6 figures is less about the offer. So you could hit 6 figures with anything, right? Low or high. Again, that ebook example that I showed you of mine, like I mean, I would hit 6 figures with that ebook example. Like, you know, I would spend, I think, $80 a week, and I was generating 4,300 a week. And so, you know, but I think it's important that the lower or the higher the price, the more effort it comes into converting, right? So if the high offer, for example, let's say I'm selling my program for $4,000, I'm gonna have a higher touch point, meaning that notice how I send people to a webinar, and that webinar is 2 hours long, right? I'm not sending people that never heard of me straight to the checkout page. They're gonna be like, what am I paying for, right? So I am sending people to a webinar, and in this webinar, I'm giving a really thorough training, and then I'm saying, here's what you're gonna learn, here's how you could work with me, here's the price of this. Now, at that point, if they stayed that entire 2 hours, it's more likely I'm gonna convert some of those people because they're like, wow, I love this training style, I didn't know any of this. Oh, 4K, and there's a payment plan option. Okay, if I can't pay it outright, I'm gonna do the payment plan option. So you could still hit 6 figures this way, but it's more of a higher touch point versus if I'm selling a $47 product, right? I'm not gonna do a 2-hour webinar, like, or I'm not gonna, what for, right? The level of effort in sales really doesn't make sense. So I may send people, right, maybe to a video training, a 5-minute video training, or I may send them straight to the checkout page. I may run 2 ads just to test out what's going to convert higher and to see, you know, how am I going to make sales? What do my sales number look like? And so essentially, the higher the number, I know someone that sells a $20,000 program and they have to get on the phone, right? So I think anywhere from like, you know, 5K to 20K, you got to pick up the phone. Like you got to pick up the phone to convert those individuals. If it's 5K, if it's anywhere from like 1K to like 5K, you could do a webinar. And if it's anything 1K or lower, you could try like a free ebook, email sequence, or a, you know, a video series, and try to convert that way. And so what you want to do is just test out different strategies to see what the conversion of that. Sorry, I'm a visual talker, by the way. If you already noticed.
I love it. Looking, it was Picasso-esque on the screen. Perfect. We'll just take 2 more questions and go ahead and wrap this up. So we've got a question from Ashley again. Do you think ads work with 4-figure offers, or should you have a tripwire in there and retarget? Ashley, did you get your answer from what he said already, or do you still need some clarification?
I did, thanks.
Perfect. Yep, not a problem.
Okay, last question we have from someone who is wanting to invest in their program, but needing to build up some monies to do that. Do you have any quick and dirty ad strategies that someone could run some ads to just help build up some income so that they can invest in your program and other programs?
Yeah, it's challenging because like I don't like the word quick because ad is like a process. And so I would say start with, if you're driving high amount of volume to your website, to the thing that you're selling, the next best bet would be start with retargeting ads, right? So, I mean, there's, you know, if you go to YouTube, there are people that teach you different strategies, retarget. So I would start retargeting. The other thing I would start with is emailing. Just email your existing list. A lot of times we build these lists and we don't even engage with them, right? So it's sort of counterintuitive. And the third thing is go live, right? Go live and engage with your audience. Like make it a point to go live at least once a week and try to sell that way, because that gives you training into selling. Right? A big part of actually making sales is understanding how to sell, and going live and putting yourself out there does that, right? It makes you learn a lot quicker.
Those are great. Perfect. Exactly. Okay. Guys, This is great. Like I said, the recording will be posted up in Tribe by the end of the day. I'm gonna stop the record. Actually, any other Abu? How else can we just find you, follow you on Instagram, and that kind of thing?
I always joke around and tell people, don't worry about finding me. I'll find you, because of my ads. But it's at Abu Fofanah, and SABUFOFANAH, and on Twitter, the Abu Fofanah. But I'll find you. Trust me. YouTube, Google, no matter where you are, I'll find you.
Not creepy at all. Not
right.
This was so good, Abu. Thank you so much for your time, your gems, the wisdom you shared. I know that many people will be blessed by this, so we really appreciate you.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you for having me. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, guys, that is a wrap.